Hey there, Cinemaster fans. Hope you're ready for some movie magic. Let's dive right in. The movie Growth of God. The story begins with a conference on the island of the immortals, and we learn that the island is located in the sky. We see the queen of the island reciting a poem. Suddenly, a strange creature called the bluebird, possessing extraordinary powers, invades the island. The bird tells the queen it's time to change the ruler of the island. The queen orders her warriors to attack it, but the bird is too powerful to be defeated. Suddenly, a man named Shion, who resides on the island, appears and uses all his abilities to defeat the bluebird with his staff. He decides to kill it, but the queen stops him and says to the island's inhabitants, this was a test to see if you would defend the island in case of an attack. At this moment, the bird transforms into a normal human and apologizes to the island's inhabitants. The queen calls upon Shion and rewards him for his bravery, which angers the rest of the island's inhabitants because they all tried to protect the island but were not honored. Later, Shion stands alone and feels something snatch behind him. He turns quickly and throws his staff, but it falls from the sky. The island's inhabitants laugh at Shion, the elder, for losing his staff and begin to beat him since he can no longer defend himself. At this moment, Shion decides to descend to Earth to retrieve the staff. Suddenly, we see a girl on Earth named Bayan climbing a tall tree to pick apples. She can't climb down and begins to pray for an immortal to descend from the sky to save her. Shion falls to the ground, sees Bayan in the tree, and uses his skills to help her down. She thanks him for saving her. Shion asks her about this place, and she tells him, you are currently in the village of Ji Xion. Shion asks her if she saw a staff fall here, but Bayan says she hasn't seen anything. However, she offers to take him to their leader, who might help. They head to the village where the villagers are running and scared because demons have invaded the village and taken the leader's wife hostage. The demons threaten to kill her unless they are given the treasure hidden on the mountain. The villagers attempt to fight the demons but fail because the demons are too strong. At this moment, Shion intervenes and defeats the demons, forcing them to retreat. The villagers are amazed by Shion's strength. He introduces himself saying, I am the immortal Shion. The leader invites him to dinner in the village. That night, while Shion is dining with the villagers, the demon leader is furious with his minions for failing to steal the treasure. They explain that they were close to succeeding but were defeated by an immortal with extraordinary powers. Shion asks the village leader about the treasure. The leader explains that a few months ago, a treasure fell from the sky onto the village's mountains, attracting the demons. To protect it, they built numerous mounts. The villagers are shocked, and the leader assures Shion that they will return his treasure. They offer Shion a drink, but as soon as he drinks it, he faints. When he wakes up, he finds himself tied up, surrounded by the villagers. The leader accuses him of pretending to be an immortal to steal the treasure. Shion tries to use his skills to free himself, but fails because the leader has overpowered him. The villagers prepare to get rid of him, but suddenly they notice smoke coming from the leader's house. They rush to extinguish the fire, only to discover it was a trick. Meanwhile, Bayan frees Shion, saying, I believe you are a true immortal because you saved me and the villagers from the demons. Shion warns her that the villagers might harm her for helping him, but Bayan insists they go to the mountain to retrieve the treasure and prove he's an immortal. She makes Shion promise that once he retrieves the treasure and returns to his island, he will continue to protect their village. Shion agrees, and they set off for the mountain. The villagers see them and chase after them, but fail to catch them. Shion and Bayan reach the mountain. Bayan warns Shion about the mechanisms on the mountain, but he dismisses her concerns, saying they are only meant for demons. They continue their journey and sit by the river. Bayan asks Shion why he wears simple clothes and walks barefoot. Shion shares his story, explaining that his feet were unusually large and he couldn't wear shoes. The villagers used to call him a demon and refused to talk to him or let him into their homes. Whenever they saw him, they attacked and beat him. One day, a girl from the village played with him but suddenly started coughing. Her family accused Shion of causing her illness. Shion recalls how he once tried to warn the villagers about an impending earthquake, but they didn't believe him and beat him. To save them, he took the sick girl and ran, hoping the villagers would follow and escape harm. They misunderstood his intentions and beat him to death, only to realize too late that he was trying to protect them. After his death, Shion ascended to the island of the immortals, where the queen honored him, transformed his feet to a normal size, and gave him clothes, which he still wears. Returning to the present, Bayan assures Shion that she will help him find the treasure so he can return to his island. She leads him to a cave, saying he must go through it to reach the mountain. Shion agrees, and they proceed. Inside the cave, they are attacked by mechanisms from all directions, but Shion uses his skills to overcome them. They continue their journey and reach a bridge separating them from the mountain. Shion steps onto the bridge but is pushed back by a force. Bells start ringing, and Shion explains to Bayan that a barrier prevents immortals and demons from crossing the bridge. Bayan steps onto the bridge and begins breaking the bells. Suddenly, a wooden plank breaks, and Bayan falls but manages to hold onto the bridge and climb back up. Shion urges her to return, but but Bayan insists on keeping her promise to help him. She continues breaking the bells and once finished, calls out to Xion. Suddenly, Xion appears behind her, and then they reach the treasure. Xion discovered that the treasure was a golden egg, not the staff he was searching for. After that, the demons came and took the golden egg, saying to Bayan, "Thank you for making the path easier for us and for helping us reach the treasure." Bayan then asked Xion to help her retrieve the village's treasure, but Xion refused and said, "I will not help you," and he left. The next morning, he went to the place where he had descended to earth. Suddenly, a net fell on him from above. The villagers appeared, captured Xion, tied him to the village, and decided to get rid of him forever. But at the last moment, the sky filled with clouds, and a lightning bolt struck the pole Xion was tied to, shattering it completely. The villagers thought Xion had died, but he reappeared unharmed. At this point, they believed he was truly immortal, and they all knelt before him. However, the leader's mother did not kneel and said to him, "An immortal should save people and help them reclaim their lost possessions caused by him, or else he is no different from the demons." At this time, Bayan went to the demon's cave disguised and managed to deceive the guards and enter. She saw the demons trying to hatch the egg, but failing. They sent it to a room with one of the fairies to hatch it. Bayan went to the room, tricked the fairy, and told her, "Hatching this egg may cause wrinkles on your face, so you should give it to me, and I will help you hatch it." The fairy agreed and handed her the egg. Meanwhile, the demons were celebrating their victory. At that moment, Bayan mistakenly entered their room, and they saw her. However, they thought she had a different egg, not the treasure egg. Bayan took the egg and left, but before she could get far, the fairy came and told the demons that the egg was stolen. The demons captured Bayan and took the egg from her. They decided to execute her, but at the last moment, Xion arrived. The demons left Bayan and attacked Xion. Xion managed to bind all the demons and began fighting the Demon King. Eventually, he defeated him. At this time, Bayan took the treasure and left the cave with Xion. Xion used his power to destroy the cave. They returned to the village, and Bayan handed the egg to the leader, who placed it back in the temple. Suddenly, the egg hatched, revealing a blue bird that struck Xion, knocking him to the ground. Xion asked the bird, "Why did you come to Earth?" The bird replied, "On that day, I decided to descend to Earth to destroy the human world. But before I could, you threw your staff at me, disrupting my magic and causing me to descend in this form. The villagers believed I was a treasure, so I decided to destroy you." The bird began attacking Xion. The villagers tried to defend him, but the blue bird harmed them, burning and destroying the village. Xion pleaded with the bird to stop, but it struck him with its power. Bayan stood in front of Xion, taking the hit herself, and fell to the ground. Now we go back to the past and learn that Bayan was the same child who played with Xion when he was in the village. She had died from an illness and ascended to the island of the immortals. The queen decided to honor her. Bayan told the queen, "I want to follow the immortal Xion forever." The queen transformed her into a magical staff, the same staff Xion carried, which gave him extraordinary power when he held it. When Xion threw the staff from the island, it fell into the lake and transformed back into a girl named Bayan. The villagers found Bayan lying near the lake and took her to the village. Now, back to the present. Bayan told Xion, I will transform the magical staff so you can defeat the bluebird." She disappeared and reappeared as the magical staff. Xion took it and went to fight the bluebird. After a long battle, he managed to overpower it and was about to kill it. Suddenly, the queen appeared and stopped him, saying, "You committed a sin by descending to the human world." The villagers began pleading with her to forgive Xion because he had saved their village from the demons. The queen agreed to forgive him. Xion then asked her to forgive the bluebird as well because it had also saved the village from the demons. The queen granted his request and forgave the bird. She told Xion, "I allow you to return to the island." But Xion replied, "I want to remain immortal on Earth." The queen agreed to his request. After that, everyone lived in peace and happiness without harm. And here ends the movie. Subscribe to the channel